Gears of War Reloaded is absolute cinema. It is peak, it is high vibrational gaming entertainment. And it is most certainly not a cheap cash grab, which was in the title of someone else's video I saw and promptly clicked "Do Not Recommend" channel. That video I saw had been uploaded less than 3 hours after Gears Reloaded officially released at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, August 26th of 2025, a day that will live in ecstasy. And though I was tempted to immediately fire back while naming and shaming, I decided no, I will take the time to really engage with Gears Reloaded for a while, let it marinate, bond with it spiritually, snuggle up to it before I'm certain I want to go to bat for it. But oh my gosh golly goodness, is this game fun! And ironically, a lot of the things that make it fun are exactly what cause it to repel the current generation of gamers. And I'm not trying to throw shade at younger people or say that Gen Z is all bad or something like that. But this faithful remake of the original 2006 Xbox 360 classic Gears of War essentially spits on the shoe of everything gaming audiences today have been raised on and conditioned to expect and enjoy. For better or worse. I know, the stench of unk status is wafting off of me, but hear me out. To explore why Gears Reloaded is so great and so unique, we have to establish some context for why it exists in the first place. Gears of War Reloaded is a remake of 2015's Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which is itself a remake of the actual first original Gears of War game from 2006. Gears Ultimate brought the game's graphics and performance into the then current Xbox One generation with a major visual upgrade, 60 frames per second competitive multiplayer, a few quality of life features, menu overhauls, and some new multiplayer modes such as Blitz, which is a variant of Annex. The problem was, it did not release on PlayStation consoles, and also Xbox did not have crossplay with PC because that was not yet a standard feature in gaming back then. And so the multiplayer population dwindled and mostly died quickly, mainly being kept somewhat alive by the most hardcore series veterans who would effortlessly curb stomp anyone into oblivion if they were attempting to get into the game for the first time. I understand why many people are upset that we are getting a third serving of OG Gears instead of remakes of 2 or 3 or any of the ones that came after 2 and 3. I want remakes of 2 and 3 as well. They are classics in their own right, made many improvements to the movement and gameplay formula, added more iconic maps and characters and weapons, etc., and I am praying we get to see those remade as well soon. But Gears of War Reloaded is doing multiple significant things for fans and newcomers alike. It is debuting on PlayStation for the first time in series history, and that includes physical copies, which are more important than ever these days if you know you know. And it is also adding crossplay between Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam, which means the multiplayer should be revived and stay alive much longer than Ultimate Edition did. It's also worth noting Ultimate Edition's PC port was exclusive to the Microsoft Store, which is much less popular than Steam as a PC platform. It is very important for the series debut on PlayStation, you start with the original, and I don't think remakes of 2 and 3 are out of the question, or at least ports to PlayStation, but because, if you're bringing a franchise to another platform, you would ideally start with the very first one. You can also now play multiplayer at 120 frames per second on consoles, and what I would say more importantly is also that you can play the campaign at 60 frames per second on console now. There's a huge difference between 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second. There's not quite as big of a difference between 60 frames per second and 120 frames per second, in my opinion at least. You get all the campaign and multiplayer DLC included for only $40 on PlayStation, or literally free if you already owned Ultimate Edition on Xbox, or you can get it through Game Pass, and I think Game Pass is a great deal on its own, but that's a whole other video. Compare this business strategy to good old daddy Nintendo charging $70+ for re-releases that are barely even upgrades in any way. You can say what you want about Microsoft, but between Oblivion Remastered and now Gears of War Reloaded, I really like the way things are going for remakes and remasters of beloved classics. It's also worth noting Gears Reloaded has no microtransactions, none at all, no battle passes, no reselling you cut content like COD 4 did with the Variety Map Pack, COD 4 Remaster that is. Everything is here in one package with its artistic / gameplay integrity and quality intact even after so many years. In an age of nonsensical pop culture crossovers and maximum silliness in games like Call of Duty and Fortnite and Rainbow Six Siege, the gory ultra-violence and uncompromisingly gritty tone of Gears Reloaded is a welcome outlier. And despite no foreseeable seasonal content updates or camo grind like gamers are now accustomed to forthcoming in Gears Reloaded, in my opinion, it doesn't need that. You can sink well over 300 hours into it just going for the 10,000 kills in multiplayer achievement, aka the seriously achievement alone. A return to a simpler kind of gaming challenge that does not depend on FOMO or egregious monetization, and allows for you to play the game how you want while constantly making progress, assuming you're getting any kind of kills or at least XP regularly in multiplayer. I frequently see even Gears of War fans themselves calling OG Gears and its remakes janky and clunky with regard to its movement. I respectfully disagree. I'd call the movement heavy, but still excellent. If you are good at the movement in the game and good at aiming and coordination with teammates and have map knowledge and spawn knowledge and are versatile with power weapons, the game feels like a smooth and responsive and tactical and consistent flow of exciting moment-to-moment brutal gameplay. You are controlling big soldiers with big muscles and big armor. If anything, the movement here makes a lot more sense canonically than what would come later in the series, and I am thankful personally that neither remake abandoned the original movement. Gears of War is a series with a much higher skill gap than most popular shooter games of the last decade, and this one probably has the highest skill gap of the whole series, arguably. Your average Battle Royale streamer cannot hop into this and immediately start clip farming, and they hate that. It's also not a game about going on massive kill streaks regularly. It is about developing skill for the reward of consistently winning matches. You can get as much score going hard for the objective as you can kill whoring, if not more sometimes. Teamwork is actually important. You need to revive teammates and lay down covering fire and take advantage of your smoke grenades. Ultimately, I am happy for us Gears fans to be eating good for a while, especially with a fully new prequel game confirmed for next year, 2026, called Gears of War E-Day. The last Gears release prior to Reloaded was Gears 5 in 2019, which to my utter shock was more than half a decade ago. It's wonderful to have the series get even a moderate amount of rejuvenation as someone who has been playing it for almost 20 years. Could they have done a little bit more? Yeah, sure, I guess, but I think they did plenty. My one big complaint is that there's no physical version for Xbox, but there is a physical version for Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and like I said, if you own that, you can automatically upgrade to Reloaded, so it's not the biggest deal. So in any case, I will be in my goon cave grinding away for the next 3 months until I'm at Re-Up 3 with Mad World on loop at maximum volume. See you on the Gears field. And if you ran into someone who chainsawed you 15 times in one match, there was a good chance it was me. And like and subscribe and all that jazz. Peace and love to all. See ya.